Hey guys, there's something I want to show you on these cassettes. I know a lot of people know how to take cassettes off and everything else, but it's got a lock ring, and then there's a special socket that goes on there to take those things off, that you can either put in your vise, put in your socket, and all that other stuff. And this is the one with a guide for doing the quick release there, and you see how it kind of goes right into those little things there. So you got that one. That's a pretty nice one. You got the original one that I've used forever, which just doesn't have the guide pin, like that. Boom. And then you got that one. Now these are all park tools. That's what we normally like to use around here, just because we've been using them forever. And yeah, we know they work and they got good warranty. And there's also one more wrench. It's our favorite wrench of all. It's the new one from Park. It makes things so much easier. It's actually that thing on a handle. That is the FR5H by Park. FR5H by Park. Dude, this thing is so awesome. It gives you so much leverage on these, and it fits on almost every single cassette. It's just right. For some reason, it's just right. See, it fits. Dude, it fits in there just right. Chain whip to also grab the gear, because if you're gonna sit there and try to unscrew this, the whole clutching mechanism is just going to go apart. So let me get a better angle, and I'll show you how I'm going to be able to get that cassette off of here. And then I'll show you another technique that I used to use a long time ago. It's just where my vise is in a different part of the shop. So let's take a look at that. Kind of giving you a weird angle here, but it should hopefully give you kind of a good rundown of how this works. I've actually got the wheel on the floor, got the camera on the floor. It's actually, the iPhone's on the floor. I'm gonna wrap this around probably about the second or third ring up, and see if I can wrap that over top of that. I'm gonna let this chain sit over the top of the chain I just wrapped around there, so it holds on to it and the chain doesn't come slipping off. Now I can hold on to that cassette really good. Grab a spoke. Leave the tire on. It's so much easier because then it grabs the ground and you have much more to grab onto. And then you just kind of put the wrench in there, give it a good push down a couple times, and boom, look at that. Dude, so easy. All right, now I'm back here at the vise. I'm gonna take my my guided tool, put in my nice Wilton vise here. I recommend you guys go out and get yourself a good vise, especially if you're gonna be doing this kind of work. Let's take this other cassette off, shall we? Customer's swapping wheels, so I'm swapping cassettes because he's got 10-speed cassette on the wheel. This one, he wants this nice wheel on his bike. His bike came with 9-speed, so I have to take the 9-speed cassette off his old wheel set to put on this wheel set so it's compatible. I don't know if you notice how I just kind of slid that right on there. Goes and sits right there in the vise. Goes right down, you kind of push it down until it pops down. Boom. Now it's holding itself. I'm hands-free. I can take my chain whip here and I can now wrap it around this and use the vise as my wrench, or basically backwards technology, using this as my wrench. See, look at that. See that? And then you can pull back with this. Boom. Maybe unscrew it a couple more times just to make sure. And I should be able to just pull this wheel off and leave the cassette behind. Bam. See that? So let's get this cassette on here. I don't know if the lighting is very good, but this cassette, as it goes around, I don't know if you notice, it's got all these different splines on here. Well, there's one spline, I think it's that one right there. Yep, that's it. That one is smaller. The one that sticks out is smaller than the rest that are around. Or if you want to look in reverse, some people say that the gap next to it is the wider gap, the widest gap. I don't like saying that. I like saying the little smallest spline that's sticking up. It makes it kind of easier for me. Each one of these gears has a different amount of splines. If you notice this one right here, smaller than all the rest. Little grooves. Or if you see this little tang that's sticking out right there is a little wider than all the rest. Every chainring on the cassette is pretty much like that, if you notice that. See, it's got a big, nice, long groove in there. So you can only put it on one way, but you got to make sure you have all your spacers in the right spots too. Let's show you how I do this real quick. Let's put that over there. We know that our groove's over there, and I know my groove is about right there, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop it right on there. Now, you don't want to put the flat gear flat against there. Nope. You want to put this on there. And now the plastic ones don't really have the smaller thing or anything like that, but they do have these holes here. So I like to line them up with these little pins that pin the cassette together. I don't know if you can see it. Let me pull it up real quick. So there's pins that pin the thing together. So I'd like to line those up with those. And then I'm just going to line up each of the small little tangs. I've rotated a little bit since this spins. It's right there. So let's go ahead and do that. The last gear itself on this particular one is the one that has the gnarls for the lock ring. I'm going to put the lock ring on there in just a minute. Boom. I'll look at all my spacing. It all looks pretty even. Doesn't look like I messed up with any of the spacing. So I like to actually hold the nut here kind of nice and move the cassette until I know it really gets the gears nicely. I don't like using this yet to torque that down. See, there we go. See, I know that it's on there nicely. No effort. About it. You don't have to sit there and put all your body weight on it. It's gnarled. It's got locking little splines in there on both the lock ring and the last ring of the cassette. The last cog, if you want to call it that. So that's how I put it on there. It's pretty much just that easy. Now this is with Shimano and standard lock ring style cassettes. There are many other different kinds of gear systems, so this is just for this one. So as you can see, the wheel's back on the bike. I got it all adjusted up. Of course, when you put a new wheel on the bike, I had to adjust the brake pads up a little bit because the braking surface is a little Just a little bit off, and no, not off, but it's a different rim, so it's a little different. And the offset here really actually wasn't off that much. I had to get a little bit of slack to let it go up in here and take out the slack from down here. Other than that, we're good to go. So anything else? We're good.